Hello and welcome to Special Didactics II, year 2021. My name is Patricia Lauria, and on behalf of my team, I'd like to welcome you all to this course and give you a brief overview of what we're going to be doing this year, for you to know a little bit what to expect. In this presentation, then, I'd like to summarize for you the structure of the subject for this year, describe briefly the type of tasks and the kind of support that we plan to give you, and finally share with you very briefly the philosophy behind the choices we make, what we believe in as a chair in terms of teacher learning, in terms of development and change, and the type of uh, tasks and activities that those um, ideas actually imply. Okay, so to begin this brief presentation, I'd like to go over the main topics that English Special Didactics II covers. More about this, of course, in the syllabus for the subject, which you can access in the virtual learning environment with a click. So the syllabus is a click away from you. But very briefly here then, the two main strands that the subject is composed of is teaching English to young learners and teaching English for specific purposes. There are two other units in the syllabus that are usually dealt with, one at the very beginning of the year and the other one by the end of it. Syllabus and curriculum design is the unit that is usually or has been covered for the last years at the beginning of the year, because it's a topic that actually cuts across both strands. So when teaching English to young learners or when teaching English for specific purposes, you will need to make decisions as regards syllabus. And so this is going to be the first topic we'll cover. And by the end of the year, we deal with intercomprehension as an approach to learning languages which use a language of the same linguistic family as a bridge to comprehending. In our case, it's English as a bridge to comprehending Dutch and German. Last year, in fact, we didn't have a time to develop this unit. This year, we hope that after Students' Week or a little bit after that, we'll be able to cover this topic. These images I'll be showing you here are taken from the schedule for this subject, which you can also access in the VLE. As you see here, April will be the month devoted to syllabus and curriculum design. In May, we'll start reading about and reflecting upon and doing activities in relation to young learners as a special context for teaching English, right? And we'll read about their learning and development, how they acquire languages, how to use technology with young learners, and the use of stories as a very important context for teaching English, in this case, to young learners. And we'll continue with young learners in June. We'll be focusing on what makes it special, what makes teaching and assessing young learners special. And you will be reading and doing tasks in relation to the skills, classroom management, and assessing young learners. So far, I've somehow summarized for you the main topics that we'll be covering in the first part of the year, which we know for certain is going to be at the distance. We don't yet know if the second part of the year will be still at the distance or whether we'll be able to go back to the physical classroom and deal with the issues that haven't been covered yet um, in the physical classroom, right? Not to talk about the old normality, but this is how things are being referred to now. As to the types of tasks that you'll be invited or asked or required to do, depending on whether you're doing the subject as a regular or promocional. Some of the activities will be optional, others will be compulsory. Um, there will be lots of individual reading and reflecting in question posing, etc. There will be lots of activities as well that will be done in pairs. In fact, most uh, um, most activities that will be assessed, and I'm thinking about, for example, the first term test, will be an activity that will be covered, will be done in pairs. So it's a good idea that you select your pair, and we'll give you a choice of partner. We won't impose partners, but of course everyone will have to look for somebody to work with. And unless we have uneven numbers, then it will always be pair work. If there's an uneven number, then we'll have one of you work in a threesome, right? Some of the activities will be collaborative tasks, and so all of us will be working on a task in a wiki or a forum discussion, a discussion forum, sorry, in the Moodle. And then there will be lots of oral presentations. That's an issue that we cover in Observación y Práctica. Those of you who are doing that subject as well will be involved in a discussion forum in the month of May on presentations and how to present effectively. And those who have already done Observación y Práctica will know the main issues in relation to this, or might be invited to join that forum. Why not? So that when it comes to oral presentations, you know how to go about it, and well, mostly how it is that you will be assessed on every task. By the way, and this is an aside, but an important aside, for every task you are given, there will be clear instructions and a very explicit assessment criteria so that you know how we're going to be looking into those, into your work, right? As to support, well, you should know that you can contact us anytime. You have questions about the subject, questions about one particular task, when you can't access a certain task or certain materials. For the time being, you can use the message function in Moodle. That is, send us a message. There will be a question answer forums in every module or unit, and so you can use that space in the VLE. You can write an email to us. We'll be writing emails to you. We know that emails perhaps have come to be less and less used nowadays, but we still use the email function, and so we'll ask you to check your inbox regularly, right? For messages. And once the group has been built and the community of learning has been built, we're going to create a WhatsApp group that last year functioned. It was really very useful. So we'll replicate that this year and create a group that will only be used for issues concerning either didactics or observación y práctica, quick consultations or tutorials that will be offering you on a regular basis and in fact on demand. Some of them will be imposed, like you will need to ask for a tutorial for one particular task, but others will be on demand. Anytime you need our support, will be there, and you can ask for a tutorial using that WhatsApp group. Okay? So let me move now to the final part of my presentation, and that is, I don't know what happened here, but this is not what I wanted to show you. Clicked on the wrong space. Of course, you have guessed that already. We'll move on to the final part, that is the philosophy behind our choices. We believe that teacher learning how to teach, is done within a constructivist paradigm. So that means that knowledge about how to teach is built by using your prior knowledge, what you already know, your experience of teaching, your experience of learning, and the new content that you read. All that is reflected upon and results in new knowledge that you build on the basis of what you already know. We also believe very strongly in teaching as thinking. Teaching is not simply behavior. Teaching is thinking. And so it's in fact one of the professional activities that you can best learn by reflection and by thinking, or by thinking. And in line with that, critical reflection is the basis for development, the basis for change. More about this, the reflective approach to teacher learning, in the initial presentation for Observazioni Pratica in the classroom for that subject. So those of you who are doing both subjects will have a chance to explore that those theoretical constructs in the presentation on reflective teaching. And finally, we'd like to share with you a quote that has come to be also part of our teaching philosophy, because it reflects what we believe as to education. Education is always a long-lasting act of love for the learners. This quote is taken from the Manifesto Liminar de la Reforma del 18, which in 2018 was translated into 5 different languages by expert translators of the School of Languages. And the quote is taken, of course, from the English translation, and reflects what we believe about education. This, I think, completes the picture, in a way, a very brief picture of this chair and our approach to teaching, and our approach to teaching this course in particular. And with this, we'd like to welcome you to Special Didactics II.